What's going on, guys? All right, let's talk about Microsoft when it comes to events. There for a while, I'm not gonna lie, watch their events, but it would never really get me like the most hyped. This year and last year I felt were very way stronger events, but there's been a lot of misses when it comes to Microsoft, and I feel like the past like year and a half they've done a lot better. Now we're gonna go over this Gamescom stuff, but they're actually showing up in real big ways at Gamescom. And that's something they haven't normally done. Now they have been there, but as we're about to bring up, they have showed up to this particular Gamescom with a lot more to offer and to show. Now let's go ahead and pop on over there, shall we? All right. So as you can see here, Xbox at Gamescom 2023. We're excited to meet Xbox players at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany this August with fan experience that are bigger and better than ever. It's the fans that make Gamescom the biggest gaming event in the world, and we're thrilled to greet you this year with the largest booth we've ever had at Gamescom. Attendees will be able to experience a huge amount of exciting news coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass with fantastic photo opportunities and the return of Xbox FanFest. If you can't make Cologne this year, don't worry. We'll bring the booth directly to you with deep dives, gameplay, developer interviews, live streamed across 3 days of the show. We can't wait. So this is coming up here relatively soon, guys. Xbox booth. Did we mention that the Xbox booth is bigger than ever this year? Because it is. We've had over 30 titles in the booth waiting, eager players spread across over 150 gaming stations. Amazing photo ops and experience and specifically constructed 30-seater theater. So I think, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. The theater is for the exclusive theater presentation from Bethesda Game Studio, highly anticipated Starfield, as well as upcoming Xbox Game Studio releases such as Forza Motorsports from the developers at Turn 10, or a history unfold from the team at Oxen Games. Towerborn, the newest adventure for the developers at Sonic, and the unrevealed of the Xbox Showcase will be the hands-on for the first time ever. Our latest content coming to Elder Scrolls Online and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, we're not going to really go over too much of this. What we want to point out is this next one. Over 25 titles from our third-party partners at ID, which includes, stuff like Stalkers, Payday 3. And I find it very interesting that From Software's Armored Core 6 is part of this. It makes me kind of think that maybe Microsoft has the marketing rights to that game. Let's see a little bit. Let's wait a little bit longer to see if that actually is the case. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I think Microsoft for a while was not taking full advantage of these type of events. Now, they were there, but it does look like they're going to be there in huge entities this year. I think that these events have to be the center focus of Microsoft when it comes to how they're going to market their games. We need to see more of the type of games that are relevant in every region. I know that like racing and soccer is a lot bigger across the pond. Japan, obviously, when you go to the Tokyo Game Show this year, you're going to want to show, JRPGs, games that are very relevant to that consumer base. That's when you would show the Personas and the new game from Atlas. I think, you show those type of games there. Now, obviously, when it comes to something like an E3 conference, is generally around that June time frame. That's when they show that big presentation with all the games that's going to be announced for this year, next year, and the year after that, most likely. And I can understand because everyone watches that. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Everyone watches that presentation. But if you're ever going to captivate the rest of the world and make sure everyone loves your titles and become a worldwide brand, because I think Sony is a worldwide brand, and it's because they've been in the industry so long and just people know what PlayStation is. I would say Xbox has some dominant areas and areas that they do really good in, but they're not considered a worldwide brand. And that's why I feel like, going to Gamescom in this big of a way is going to really help in that side of the world that you're at. Going to Tokyo Game Show, if you're there, people are going to notice you. And if you consistently show up, you do better things. Not to mention PlayStation really ain't none of these events. And I get it. They're number one. They got that worldwide brand recognition. So why should they show up to here? Especially Gamescom, because it's more of a fan focus. Go there for your fans. I get it costs money. And I get it's not cheap for these booths. I get it. But at the same time, when you start not having your fan in any some way, shape, or form with the decisions like these, that's where I feel like you start really taking the consumer for granted. PlayStation has done some very anti-consumer things, and maybe it's because they're number one and they can afford to take these risks. And Xbox has been a very, very, consumer-friendly product, and you could argue it's because they aren't in the first place. But to me, Xbox is good. This is good news. You got to do this more often. I know there's a London one show. There's Tokyo Game Show. There's the E3 show. You got to do more of these more consistently. And I think once these developers that Microsoft and Xbox has been nurturing throughout the past couple of years, once they start consistently getting titles out, I think you'll start seeing more and more of these games being announced at these shows that they wouldn't normally go to. I think if they ever buy something like Sega's going to be front and center at a Tokyo Game Show Xbox conference. You'll probably see Sega branding more than you'll see Xbox branding, and I think that makes sense. When it comes to over there in Europe and them, you show the Turn 10 stuff more often there. Do it where it makes sense in what part of the world you're at, and I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. Keep in mind, like I said, they've been doing decent when it comes to events for a while. I think this year and last year is some of the best things that they've done in a minute. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys think. Is this something that you guys are interested in? I know that when it comes to something like this, it's a hit and miss. We don't even know if they're ever going to announce anything. They might announce an unannounced double P, a double A title or something like that. We don't know exactly what's going on, but definitely put in the comment section below. Are you guys excited for Gamescom this year? Even though I'm not in that part of the world, it's still very exciting because we're going to get probably new gameplay on some of these games. Maybe we'll see Hellblade 2 there in some way, shape, or form. The game's been announced. Maybe they'll show us more of the gameplay going on forward. But anyway, thanks for having a nice day. You guys have a nice day. Peace.